Titans rookie minicamp is in the books. Cam Ward displaying his leadership already. Femi Oladejo bringing the energy. Xavier Restrepo leading all the wide receiver drills. We're going to talk about all of this and more with our guest, Turron Davenport. This is the Music City Audible. Let's get to it.
You know, I think we take a lot of pride in the fact that this is a class of leadership. And I think that's part of the reason that they, handpicked each and every one of us to come in here is because of our leadership, what we were able to do in college. Obviously leading our teams to 10-plus wins, however that may be. But I think that he saw that leadership and that accountability and the captain aspect of our game and of our history as a football player. And I think all that kind of clicked, as well as our talent and scheme, obviously to just have a super strong rookie class.
Oh, welcome everyone to another episode of the Music City Audible podcast presented by Sinkers Beverages, the premier wine, spirits, and beer store in East Nashville, along with Broadway Sports Media and 440 Sports. I'm Justin Graver. With me, as always, Justin Melo. Justin, how's it going? Monday morning, Titans rookie minicamp done and over. They will be joining the veterans today, maybe right now as we record this. How's it going?
Doing well. Excited to recap it properly here with Turron Davenport, ESPN reporter for the Titans. He was in attendance, of course, at rookie minicamp, so he's going to give us a really good, firsthand report of what he saw from Cam Ward and friends, if you will.
Yeah, can't wait to hear what Turron Davenport has to say, having been there to see everything unfold in person. He tweeted out some notes from practice that we're going to ask him about to get, more specific on what he saw out there. But before we do that, Justin, I want to talk about, I gave you a 30-second clock to talk about Gabe Davis on our last episode. I'm going to give myself a 30-second clock because I want to rant about something, and it's the way the Titans are covered by their own media team. Here we go. Starting the clock now. 3, 2, 1.
New segment, folks.
Officially,
new segment. It sounds like.
30-second shot clock. All right, Justin, my clock's ticking. I do not understand why they want to treat Cam Ward like any other player. Like, this is a chance to just put him on everything. I'm talking like many videos of him throwing, as many as the coaches are cool with putting out there. It's not like they're doing anything that's going to reveal strategy at these mini camp practices. I have 5 seconds. I want to see more Cam Ward, and all Titans fans want to see more Cam Ward. Hype up your golden boy. Okay, I'm done.
Wow, that was pretty quick. I think you ran out of time there. You got to get better at managing the shot clock. You're right. That's a Dallas Mavericks-like fumble, I think I'll say at the shot clock. In response, I get both sides because when you take a quarterback number one overall, you've also got a rare opportunity. Market, right? And you want to make money and you want to sell merch, and it's important to market, right? That goes a long way in generating that sort of revenue. And let's be like you talked about, strategy. Like Brian Callahan's not Mike Vrabel, right? Like I don't think this is Brian Callahan being like, we can't release any footage. Like Mike Vrabel might have been that way, but Brian Callahan, he'll go up there and give you an honest answer about a play call, right? Like I don't think Brian Callahan buys into the whole strategy thing. It's more about execution. I think with him, if we execute, we'll be fine, even if you know what's coming.
Right.
So this isn't on the coaching staff, in my opinion. On the other side, where I'll defend them is, I can kind of understand. Do they want to temper expectations a little bit? We know Cam Ward's a low-key kind of guy. He doesn't – I don't want to say he doesn't love the spotlight, but, he just likes to kind of go about his work without all the bells and whistles attached. So I get why fans fans should always want to see more. That's why they're fans. I get it. From the Titans' perspective, I can understand arguments on both sides of the fence. I didn't have a 30-second shot clock, so I could expand on it.
Yeah. I just think, look, you mic up Femi Oladejo, and that was great. It was awesome to see the clip really that Titans posted on social media of Femi just literally, I tweeted this. He sounded like a coach on the field, the way he was talking to his teammates, encouraging them, but also holding them accountable. Don't walk on my field. Why are you walking? Getting people moving. I loved all of that. But we can't do that for Cam Ward. He's the quarterback, number one overall pick. We can't get him mic'd up 2 minutes of what Cam Ward sounded like at practice. That's where I'm just like, do you guys realize the opportunity you have to showcase the number one pick who didn't get a lot of attention when he was drafted, and now he's not even getting, we were salivating on the Twitter time. If you're not on Twitter, you don't understand what this was like, but if you are, you do. We were all sitting there refreshing our phones on Friday night, on Saturday afternoon. Give us the Cam Ward throwing the ball clip. And it was the last one they posted on Friday, and they gave us a few on Saturday. But I don't know. I just expected them to like want to show him off more. We don't have to talk any more about that unless you have a final wrap up thought.
No, I'm sure your fiance really appreciated you spending your weekend refreshing your phone for the Cam Ward clips.
We cover a team. We gotta be on the ball. We're always doing a job here. All right, Justin. I do want to talk a lot more about Titans rookie minicamp and what we learned, what we can take away from it. But I want to do it with someone who was there. So I think we should now welcome in our guest. Turron Davenport covers the Titans for ESPN. TD, thanks for joining us this morning. How's it going?
Oh yeah, everything is well, man. Thanks for having me on, man. I hope you guys are doing well also.
Yeah, so I want to talk about this Titans rookie minicamp with you. You were obviously out there, and one thing I think our audience should understand is that Brian Callahan said this was more of an orientation for these rookies. This is not a competitive. There's no 7-on-7, no 11-on-11. So it's just about working these guys into the Titans building so that when Monday, today, and they get with the veterans, when that gets here, they can hit the ground running and not be still trying to find their way. But I still think there's a lot we can learn if we look at the little details here. So starting with Cam Ward. Now, to me, it's all about how Cam Ward is able to capture his teammates' respect and be that leader that we know he's been everywhere he's been in his career. And you noted that there was a rep between him and Alec Iamaner where the ball hit the ground and Cam Ward had Iamaner come back and redo the rep. Were there any other little things that you saw, whether at practice or what you heard from anybody in the press conferences, that sort of indicate Ward is already earning the respect of his teammates and showing that leadership that made him the number one pick?
Yeah, actually, after practice, I spoke to a few of the rookies, right, during the press conference, asking them questions specifically about Cam Ward. There was something unique to his leadership or just the way that they've learned the playbook together. And I believe it was Gunnar Helm. He had said that, he has them get into the building early in the morning to watch film. So that's something. And I remember talking to Xavier Restrepo, and that's what he said that Cam Ward did when he first got to Miami. So you have that. But then also just Io Manor, he said that Ward is a perfectionist, or not a perfectionist, but he's going to get it right. And if it's not done right at that first rep, they're going to come back and do it. And he mentioned hitting it while it's hot. So you have that. Chimere DK, he also spoke on just, the leadership that Ward has and just how, it's good to have him on the team now as opposed to going against him. You remember that from his intro presser. So, yeah, I think he's definitely made his presence felt. There's already a relationship. It's interesting. He and Femi Oladejo, I don't know, they have a relationship. And, they got a handshake that they do before they go out there. So I thought that was interesting also.
And speaking of Restrepo, TD, you noted that he was first in line for like every receiver drill and was probably the most polished guy at rookie minicamp. It's funny. It's almost like a two-edged sword for me because I almost expect it coming from a guy like him, 1,100 plus receiving yards at Miami, rewrote the record books there. But it's also a little unusual for an undrafted free agent, right, to find himself in that spot. So talk to me a little about that. Were you surprised by how pro ready he looked, being the most polished guy there, considering they got a couple draft picks in that room as well?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised at all. I don't think Xavier Restrepo is your typical undrafted free agent. Honestly, this is a case of traits versus just playing ball. And I mean, look, no slight to Io Minor or DK. These guys are interesting prospects, and I think they're going to have a bright future. But there are more guys that you look at, hey, big, fast, physical, right? But then Restrepo, is a little pocket slot receiver, but he plays the game the right way. He understands spacing. He understands leverage. He's always friendly to his quarterback. And there's a reason why Cam Ward lobbied to any team that was going to take him about Xavier Restrepo. So it doesn't surprise me. It's just, he's played more football than both of those guys. So naturally, he's going to be more experienced, more polished. I think that's fine. But it's just, again, it's the measurables versus playing the game. And I think naturally when you're playing the game, this is something that I remember talking to him about, and he stressed, he said, I'm a football player. I'm not an underwear Olympic guy. I'm not someone who's going to do all that and shine that way, but I'm a football player. And again, you got to remember, this is a guy, Michael Irvin, Reggie Wayne, Andre Johnson, Leonard Hankerson. You know, you can go on and on and on. Santana Moss. He has more catches and touchdowns. No, more catches and receiving yards than all of them. He's fourth all time in touchdowns at Miami. So it's not your typical undrafted free agent.
No, he's certainly not. And this fan base falls in love with an undrafted free agent receiver every year. But I think this one is going to take the cake for number one all time, probably.
I think this one is going to reach Mason Kinsey level there, man.
Yeah, it might even surpass it. That first, practice orientation, if you will. Did you get the vibe regarding Restrepo that he was immediately came in with the mindset like, UDFA, I need to show I belong, and I also know I got a bit of a leg up on your average UDFA because I got the support, confidence, and chemistry with the quarterback.
Definitely no indication of having a leg up. He busted it through every drill, did everything he had to do. There was a sense of urgency with him. Didn't drop any balls. Out there having fun. It was fun to watch. You know what I mean? And I don't think that he has any type of outlook that would say, hey, I got a better chance because of Cam. He's going to control what he could control and focus on that, honestly.
Yeah, it makes sense. And that's the kind of work ethic we expect from him. TD, was there anyone else that impressed you with the little things, whether, Femi Oladejo's energy or just anything else you saw or heard that stood out to you?
Yeah, Femi Oladejo. I mean, going over there and watching the outside backers, they were working together with the D-line, and then they split up. And I remember I was over there for like 2 minutes, and I turned to Jim White. I said, yo, that Family got some energy, man. You know what I mean? And we laughed and yeah, it definitely showed. But I like how his communication throughout the drill. He's all right. Come on, 56. Good job, 51. You know what I mean? Those types of things. And to be a rookie doing that already, he's definitely someone who I think is going to be a leader. At some point this season. So you have that the energy that he had just going through the drills was definitely impressive. I like that. Gunnar Helm, I mean, look, that dude he's got that Anthony Ferguson level sticky finger ability, man. Like he catches everything, and if you guys remember, that's what they call Ferguson, sticky fingers. And he's the answer to it. So maybe we'll have to move that nickname to Gunnar Helm. We'll see. But he was someone else that impressed me. And Virgil Emmons is interesting. This guy averaged 25 yards per return at Western Florida. He had 602 total punt return yards, and when I say 25 yards per return, I'm talking about punts, not kicks, punts, right? So it was good seeing him, right? I wanted to see what his build was like. He got those skinny sprinter legs, the skinny ankles. I was joking. Like, anytime a guy got skinny ankles, he's fast. So he was someone else that just getting to see him, I wanted to see what he could do, just see what he looked like.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll see which undrafted free agents have a path to the roster. And obviously, if you can contribute on special teams, that makes that path a little bit easier to manage. TD, to start this episode, we played a clip about Gunnar Helm talking about how the leadership that the entire draft class had this common trait of like, we were leaders, we were captains, we led our schools to 10-win seasons. Did you see any of those kind of characteristics on the field versus listening to them talk? And how important do you think that trait is for this draft class as the Titans try to pull off this culture rebuild?
Yeah, I mean, like we said, with Cam Ward and Femi Oladejo, we saw that Gunnar Helm was more or less like it was him and another guy. It was from TCU. Abney was his last name. They were the only tight ends there. So, it's not really too much of a leadership opportunity. And then when they came together, they were just kind of running the offense. Those are the two. But, I mean, Kevin Winston is another guy that I know they're going to look to. And I know he was pretty well ranked at Penn State. So you do have him. It definitely was a theme, right? Multiple team captains, multiple gold star helmet guys, and not too much off the field stuff from any of them, if anything at all. So I think that's good. But you got to mix in a few of those bad ASSs too. You know what I mean? Like you got to have a few of them. So we'll see. But I mean, it's like you got to have. Every team has to have a Darren Bates or two. You know, every team has to have a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You know, those types of players that are spicy and just, you know, add that heat to the locker room.
Do you think that's something that they want to lay the foundation for before they bring in those types of guys with this, like, guys who just love football and they're going to pick up their teammates and hold them accountable? It seems like that's a big theme that they maybe could have taken a couple of guys in this draft that more closer to what you're describing, and they decided, you know what, maybe that's a next year component.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. You know, I'm honestly confused how they are building a locker room, like character-wise and everything. Confused is not the best word. I'm curious, probably, is a better way to describe it. You know, because I want to see how it is comprised. Like, see how these rookies mix in with the newer guys. Like, you know, like I said, with Femi Oladejo being a very vocal leader type of player. I want to see how he mix in when the vets come. You know what I mean? So it's going to be you know, an experience just seeing everything happen. But I mean, we see it every year, right? The rookie class, they mix in with who's there. I think the locker room was in place already to absorb a guy who, you know, might be a little bit a push the envelope type of character.
Interesting. Well, they didn't go after George Pickens, who was just traded to the Cowboys, but that might have been the type of guy.
Yeah, I don't know about that, pushing the envelope that far.
All right, there's a line. Got it. TD, we really appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much for joining us, and have fun covering this team this offseason.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it, man. You see, go Mets.
Go Mets. All right. Thanks again to TD for his time there, man. It's great to have the perspective of someone who was there versus just reading about what was going on at practice from people who were there. Let's have him come on and talk to us about it, Justin. That was awesome.
Yeah, and really interesting stuff on Gunnar Helm, you know, Xavier Restrepo, obviously Cam Ward. So really great conversation. I imagine you guys really enjoyed that one.
Absolutely. All right, Justin, the schedule is being released on Wednesday night, and we're going to get tidbits about the schedule all throughout this, you know, these next 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I think you and I should probably hop back on Thursday morning and record a reaction to the Titans schedule. What say you?
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, look, it's one of those, I mean, we make a big spectacle out of it. I totally get it. It's not a whole lot else to talk about that time of year. So we'll come on and we'll cover the schedule, kind of look at the peaks and valleys, where the division might be decided, right? There's usually a cluster of them at some point, right? Division games in a row. So we'll come on here, you know, do a quick little recap of the schedule and talk about how the Titans season will be won or lost.
Right. It's not about the opponents. We know the opponents. It's like, where's the bye week? How many road games in a row? How many home games in a row? What's the travel schedule look like? Do they have, how many primetime games do they get? Do they have an international game? All that kind of stuff is what we're going to be looking at when we break down the schedule on Thursday morning. All right. That does it for this one. Titans rookie minicamp. Rookies now with the veterans. Hopefully we get some media attention of what's happening when Cam Ward meets, you know, all the veterans.
I'm looking forward to the clips of Tim Boyle throwing. That's what I want to see.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I hope the social media cuts that up instead.
Can't wait for that. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Again, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up, like, drop a comment below. What'd you think of the conversation with TD? What'd you think about what we saw from Titans rookie minicamp? And we'll be back later on. Thanks also to Sinkers Beverages. Until next time, y'all stay safe out there and tighten up.
A Broadway sports media production.